and welcome to episode 4 of the Europhoria podcast, where we look back at the great glam and garish from Eurovision past. I'm Roland Bodnam, and as ever, I'm joined by the delightful
Isobel Chillman.
Huzzah! How you doing, Isobel? All right?
Huzzah! That's the campest thing you've ever said.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty. Yeah, I'm alright.
We're doing all right, aren't we? We've got 3 episodes out now. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's all right. No, it's great. Of course, I'm loving it. It's brilliant. Yeah.
As ever, we delve into the history of Eurovision, take a little look at some of the current news from what's going on in Eurovision right now, and then at the end of the episode, I attempt to create a Eurovision hit, which Isobel then shoots down out of the sky and destroys my dreams.
The best bit of the podcast,
yes.
Listening to Roland's ridiculous songs.
So we're back in your kitchen, Isobel.
Back where we belong.
Back where we belong. How are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm really good. I want to say a little hello and thank you to all of our listeners. We were having a look at some of the analytics on the podcast over the last week. We were very, very excited to see that it actually turns out it's not just our mates in the immediate vicinity in London who are listening to this, but actually we have some foreign listeners.
Hello.
Which is very good. So we have some listeners in Croatia. So I've been trying to practice this. And Google Translate is telling me that hello in Croatian is Stravo.
Stravo.
Stravo. S-D-R-A-V-O.
Well, Stravo to all you Croatian listeners.
Yeah. And we also have some listeners in Germany. So, hello. Listeners in the US.
Hello.
And even some in Australia.
Yeah. Hi. Oh.
G'day.
Yeah, I suppose.
For you guys as well. But hi to everyone. Thank you so much. We're so glad this is going so far and wide. We love you all very dearly and hope you all had an absolutely wonderful, mega, amazing, beautiful Christmas time.
It's very exciting. Christmas, whatever you celebrate across the globe, merry that.
Merry holiday.
You've got the thing, the tradition.
Oh my goodness, yep. So normally Roland gets the wine and opens it up, but I've been left to deal with this today. So I thought, a little bit off-piste, but because this is going to be technically like our New Year's Eve podcast, almost, New Year's Eve.
By the time they're listening to it.
I thought we'd go a bit off-piste and get some Prosecco, a bit of Prosecco.
Wow. That's
it's Italian.
Tell you what, that's going to sound great when you open it.
Hey,
good luck with that.
Thanks so much.
So while Isobel does that, I'm going to do the bit that she normally does and Phil.
What's been going on, Roland? How's it going at the moment?
It's been going good, yeah, just warming up. To give you a little peek behind the curtain, we're doing this before Christmas, but I'm sure by the time it's come out, Christmas has gone lovely, and everyone's had a really good time. So, hey! Christ!
Happy New Year!
That was loud. That was exciting. Well done.
Okay.
Here, hold the fizz up to the mic.
Hey, that's Happy New Year fizz, that. Lovely stuff.
All right, lovely.
That's for you.
Thank you very much. This is very exciting.
And this is for me.
Blimey.
Oh, lovely fizzy goodness. Very excited about
different
this.
sound. That's very nice.
It's delicious, isn't it?
So,
Sounds like a bubble bath.
Shall we go into any other business? Do we have any other business from last week?
The only business I have, bidness.
Any other business, sorry.
The only business that I have to do with last week's is, I don't know if you noticed this, but after his absolutely vile tweet to do with the X Factor and the gay mafia and the Zionists, Steve Brookstein, very unfortunately, is no longer on Twitter, guys. Oh, dear.
Bye, Steve.
Bye, Steve.
Bye, Steve.
Hopefully,
bye.
You will be lost in the same world as that awful Milo man from
God,
Milo.
yeah.
What's his name?
Banned forever.
Banned from social media.
So that's a little bit of an update on that. I've got a little bit of any other business. I know we spoke about people across the world sort of giving us a bit of feedback and stuff like that. We had our first bit of fan email in the last week. Came from a man named David Chillman.
Shut up! Did my dad email you? No, he didn't.
Your father sent me an email. Well, it sent Europhoria podcast email. And I'm very glad you haven't checked it. I was worried you were going to check it. I'll just read it to you because it's main.
Oh my God.
So David Chillman said, the subject line, United We Dance. So clearly he's only listened to the first one, but he said, Isobel already knows this, but I love capitalised United We Dance. Next paragraph. A song for Europe. A song for our troubled times. This could be the anthem of a generation. And then in brackets, all the way from the west coast of Canada.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
So thank you, David Chilman, for that. That was a really beautiful...
Oh, he messaged me. I think I told you. He sent me a WhatsApp message saying how much he loved the podcast, and specifically said in that, especially the song. I really liked Roland's song. That's so cute.
So a little ego boost for me. And
thanks, Dad.
Maybe I should get him to start giving me points for my songs, because he might be a bit more generous than you are.
He won't be.
He didn't send me an email about the other songs.
He's very disappointed in you, clearly. Oh, that's so sweet. And on that note, actually, that segues quite nicely into the fact that you can email us if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
Just let us know what you think, in the same way that my dad did, very cutely. Please do email us and contact us and let us know anything at all, whether it's that you know something extra about Eurovision you want us to tell us, or a story you want us to do. Please do email us. So our contact details are europhoriapodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is Europhoria Podcast. Twitter is @EurophoriaCast. So please do follow us, contact us, get involved, let us know what you think.
So that's any other business. Shall we move on to the news, Isabel?
Yeah, the news. Eurovision news.
There we go. Do you want to start with some news?
I didn't get any. I did mine before by accident. God. Steve Brookstein.
Oh, right.
I got confused. Sorry.
Cool. So that was the news. It's over. No, it's not. No, it's not. So just a little update. In fact, another update off the back of Steve Brookstein. In the last episode, Isabel, you made a prediction about how far Sarah Alto would go, and you said that you thought this time next year she'd probably be doing something like Celebrity Big Brother or something like that. She has signed a 5-album deal with Sony Music UK and Sony Finland, and is going to be recording she's recording a song with Sia, and hopes to collaborate with Adam Lambert on her new music. So things are going a little bit better for Sarah Alto than you had predicted. So well done her.
Well, I mean, definitely very well done her.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people sign big record deals and then still end up on
Celebrity Big Brother.
You're true. Cancelled.
You're very true. I think the Teletubbies probably had a 5-album deal.
So I just Googled Eurovision and then clicked on news to see if there was anything else, because I realised I didn't get any. One of the first things that came up from 53 minutes ago, X Factor's Honey G reckons the Eurovision Song Contest is too cheesy for her. Well, guess what, Honey G? We don't want you at the Eurovision Song Contest anyway.
Oh, that would be awful. Can you imagine? That would be worse than Daz Sampson.
And also, another bit of news. We discussed before that potentially Kiev wasn't going to be able to host the contest.
Yes.
And there were discussions about that. But actually, it's fine. Kiev are definitely going to host the contest. There's still some problems that they're ironing out. Yep. But it is going to be in the Ukraine, not in Russia.
Well, there we go. We should never...
That's Jon Ola, that.
Thanks to Jon.
Told him we should...
He did say it was safe in his hands. So that's good to know. Right, okay. Well, that's the news and the any other business done. Shall we move on, Isobel, to the stories?
Yes, please.
Excellent. So I'm going to start as we always do. My story is simply called Bosnia and Herzegovina 1993. So it's 1993, Isobel. The year previous to that was 1992.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And Ireland won the contest with a song performed by Linda Martin entitled Why Me?
Why me?
I'll tell you why. It's because she performed a bloody good ballad and then she won. So it was being held in 1993 in Ireland. The Irish decided that instead of hosting it in a stadium or a pre-existing venue, that they decided to descend on a tiny rural town of Mill Street and hold it in a horse arena, which had been more used to holding gymkhanas than international song contests. It was, in fact, one of the smallest venues to ever host the Eurovision Song Contest. I don't know why.
We discussed this before about having an intimate Eurovision. So clearly it's happened in the past.
So I don't know why they decided to host it in a horse arena. They just did.
The Irish, they're funny, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Funny lot.
So Also that year, rather inconveniently for the fact that it was the smallest venue, the record was broken for the most countries ever performing. So that year, ever performing up to that point. So that year, 25 countries were to take part in the contest. And there were 3 new countries joining that year. The countries were Slovenia, Croatia, shout out to Croatia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina.
So really, over that time then, not many more have joined, because I'm pretty sure we're only up to like 27 now.
Yeah, 27. Yeah, it is about 27. So not that many. Yeah, so that was probably like, big lineup. So yeah, so as you can tell by the title, we're going to focus on one of those 3 countries. And we're also focusing on it because it's one of my favourites to say, is Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I think I always say it wrong.
I always say it with a y at the end.
I think I always say Bosnia-Herzegovina.
I say Herzegovina, but it's Herzegovina.
I say it wrong every time then.
Yeah, I think people can say it how they want. It's kind of...
I don't think they can.
However you want to say it, it's fine.
If the people of Bosnia-Herzegovina would think that.
Well, I looked it up and I did the thing you did with Croatian hello, and I checked and it said Herzegovina. So I'm gonna go with that.
Sorry guys, I've been saying it wrong for quite a while.
So, Isobel, I know I'm going to get a reputation for this, but I just want to take a quick look at the political situation that was going on at the time.
Yeah.
So
it's genuinely, from doing the research, it's really hard to find ones that don't go very political very quickly. It's really tough to remain silly.
Yeah, it's. I mean, good luck with.
I'm actually liking it because I'm getting really well educated.
Oh
history
God!
now.
Like I never knew anything about European history, and now I know a lot. So good luck being silly with this one, because I'm going to take you to 1991, and that area there was basically in 1991 going through the breakup of Yugoslavia. Mm-hmm. So Slovenia and Croatia had by that point seceded from the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, and the Socialist Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina held a referendum for independence, which passed on the 29th of February 1992. So basically the people had spoken and they wanted to become independent from the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. And, the people spoke, democracy should be carried out, right? Mm-hmm. Well, not exactly. So basically, the political representatives of the Bosnian Serbs had boycotted the referendum. And so when the result was announced, they rejected it. Following this, the Bosnian Serbs, who were supported by the Serbian government of Slobodan Milosevic, great name.
I love saying that name.
Great name. Not so great a guy.
Horrible guy.
Supported by him and the Yugoslav People's Army, basically they mobilised their military forces inside Bosnia and Herzegovina in order to secure control of Serb territory. War basically spread across the country, accompanied by the ethnic cleansing of the Bosniak and Croat population. So fun times for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Obviously not, but so we're going to zoom in a little bit more to the capital city of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is Sarajevo, which when all this was going on, I've sort of been aware of all of these names and all these places, but never really looked at it. So Sarajevo was the location of the longest siege of a capital city in the history of modern warfare. It was under siege from the 5th of April 1992 to the 29th of February 1996. It was 1,425 days of being under siege. Basically, it was a disaster area, or as one Mohammed Fazlajic put it, he said, to use the word hell would be too polite. No electricity, no food, people dying everywhere. We were targets wherever we went. All we were trying to do was live. So things were not good. I don't think I can sum it up any better than those words. This man, Mohammed Fazlajic, was actually soon to be the representative of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the Eurovision Song Contest 1993. But first, he had to get there. So let me explain. Mohammed was only 24 when the Bosnian War began. He was an aspiring singer who was living in Sarajevo. Very early on in the conflict, he was forced to abandon his home because the Serbs took control of the area of the city where he lived. So basically, he was forced to find shelter where he could. He spent a lot of time sleeping on friends' floors and sofas. He also joined the Bosnian army, which was tasked with guarding parts of the city from the invading forces. So a couple of months after joining the army, he set up the army set up a musicians unit, which basically called on singers, composers, and musicians to come together and play concerts wherever and whenever people needed relief from the siege, which I think is beautiful.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so they would play music and people would be removed from the terrible situation that they were in just for a short amount of time. Another relief to the war was, and I think this again speaks to the power of the competition, another relief from the war was Eurovision. So in February 1993, the country's TV station, and bear in mind this is a war-torn country, the country's TV station held a contest to become Bosnia and Herzegovina's first ever Eurovision entry.
Oh.
11 acts took part. There were 10 acts who were live in the studio. One act couldn't make it to the studio because they couldn't get there because of the gunfire, but they played their video. And one of the acts was Mohammed and his band, which was called Fazla. And they performed their song entitled For All the Pain in the World. So they actually managed to convince a fairly famous Bosnian songwriter to write the lyrics for them. And the lyrics include lines such as, I cannot feel the stars down here from the sky. I cannot find a way to rise us up the road. I can only write and send a song to you to know I'm still alive.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna cry.
So
this
I mean,
is so beautiful. I get like this again. This is what we're saying about Eurovision getting very political. A lot of the time, it turns out that this competition is the only way for a country or that certain people in that country feel that they can talk to the rest of the world, and it's their opportunity once a year to say, we're going through some real shit right now and we kind of need some help, or we just want you to be aware of it. Like, we're here and we're surviving it, and we're having like a really fucking tough time right now. Yeah.
For every la 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 song, there's a song someone going, hi, we're here, please hear us.
Was it last week's one about that you did about
the German
So last week's one that you were saying about the German entry that she
during the Cold War.
Yeah, that was really beautiful and heartfelt, and she won.
Just a little bit of peace.
Yeah, just a little bit of peace, exactly. And last year's the same thing as well.
Yeah, Ukraine.
Jamala.
Yeah, 1944. Oh. I mean, it's amazing. So actually, this song and beautiful lyrics. So this song is actually, the lyrics are basically someone sending their love to their partner who was a refugee who got out of the country and telling her he won't give up. And it was true. Mohammed's girlfriend, Sanda Bukvik, who was a journalist, had fled the city and was in Sweden at the time. And so he was sending his love to her and to say, I'm still alive and I'm not going to give up.
I'm getting like goosebumps.
And I mean, this story was amazing. And if they don't make a movie about it, I'll be shocked.
You make the movie. We'll make the movie.
We'll make the movie with our voices. So, in an interview from the BBC, interviewer Alex Marshall asked Mohammed. He said, "It was a bit bleak compared to the average Eurovision entry, isn't it?" To which Mohammed replied, "We'd been under siege for 300 days. What else would we sing about?" Which is fair enough. Yeah. What else would you sing?
You're not going to put in one of the la 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 songs, are you?
So Mohammed and his band won the selection to represent their country for the first time, which is hugely exciting and a huge cause for celebration. However, it also raises a lot of concern, as getting out of the city and getting out of the country was effectively like throwing yourself into a gauntlet of gunfire and explosions.
Oh my God.
To raise the stakes even higher, and this is where it starts to sound like it's a movie, this is real. To raise the stakes even higher, Mohammed and his girlfriend Sanda agreed that if Mohammed made it out of the country, they would meet and get married and have their honeymoon where the song contest was being held in Ireland.
Oh my God, this is too good. Oh.
So Mohammed, all of his focus was on getting him and his band out of the city where they would perform, and he would meet his love.
Jesus.
So
I only had half a glass of Prosecco and I'm already getting teary. Christ.
So they didn't all go together. They went in separate groups. One of the first to attempt to get out of the city was one of his backing singers, Erka Hadzovic, who was making her escape with 5 other members from the Eurovision party. I don't think they were from the band. I think they were people, organisers. So they began their attempt. Their first try failed almost immediately. They had to turn back due to heavy gunfire. On their second attempt, they made it out of the city by working their way slowly down the streets and had to spend the night in a ruined house in the suburb of Dobrinja, which was the scene of some of the worst fighting in the conflict up until that point. From there, they made their way up Mount Igman, which was a peak held by government forces. And once they'd worked their way to the top, they would travel from by bus to Zagreb. So they made it. Others on the same night were not successful. So 6 people died that same night and 17 were injured. So then it was Mohammed's turn. And in interviews, he recalled his attempt to escape, and he explained that they had to cross open fields to get out, with snipers basically trying to pick them off in the darkness. He said,
God, this is terrifying.
He said the Serbs were shooting all night long. They had army guides with them, and they got out the city, and they got to the bottom of the mountain, and the guide put him in a group with the guitarist and 2 girls from the band, and the guide pointed to the top of the mountain and told them to run up it and not get shot.
God.
So what he then recalls is it was the middle of the night, it was pitch black, and it had been snowing, so the ground was thick with mud. And as he was running, his shoes began to get stuck. So he said, I couldn't stop, people were shooting, so I kept going without shoes for 5 or 6 hours.
This is insane. How is this not a Hollywood movie already?
It's absolutely insane. To get to Eurovision, I mean, he's said, I'm going to meet my love and get married. The rest of the band are just going for Eurovision. It's not, and I say just because it's like you said, it's them getting their voice out to the world and them wanting to represent their country. But you look at,
oh my God, just everything. He has everything weighing on him right now. Like getting out of the city, finding the woman he loves, getting to the bloody competition, singing his song. Yeah. Making sure everyone else is there safe as well. And obviously hoping, and not if he's going separately from the rest of his group, he doesn't know if they're okay yet. Oh my God, I'm on...
So after 5 or 6 hours of running barefoot up a snowy mountain, he made it. He reached the top and he joined the rest of his band members in Zagreb. Their conductor was meant to join them a few weeks later, but basically couldn't make it because the fighting had escalated and it was too intense, so he didn't make it. So you would think, risking their lives to make it to Eurovision, they would be welcomed with open arms. Well, actually, their place in the final wasn't guaranteed at this point.
What?
They had to go through heats, basically. An elimination round basically took place in Slovenia.
Did they have to go through the semi-finals?
Well, at that point, it was basically deciding which Eastern European countries would make it. So it was divided, and only a certain amount of different people from different regions went in. So they basically got to this point and then could have been sent straight home again.
Oh, God.
So... fortunately, Bosnia made it through, and Serbia was expelled by the EBU because of the conflict that was going on and all the atrocities that were occurring.
Okay, good.
Good for you,
well
EBU.
Done, EBU.
So, Mohammed and the Fazla band made their final trip to the green grass of Ireland, where he was united with his girlfriend and soon-to-be wife.
That's so good.
The night itself came and the band gave a rousing performance of their song and received a standing ovation from everyone in the crowd. Everyone had heard about the journey that they had gone on and the things that they'd been through to just get there. One of the other loudest cheers of the night came during the voting after the host said, "Good evening, Sarajevo. Can we have your points, please?" And after a short delay, a crackly voice came over the line and spontaneous applause broke out around the arena.
I'm genuinely tearing up right now. I can't cope with this.
So it's a happy ending. It's not necessarily the perfect Hollywood ending. Mohammed and the Fazla band came 16th in the competition, but
that's okay. The guys in Cool Runnings didn't win the Olympic medal either.
Well, for Mohammed, it wasn't about winning. In the BBC interview, he explained, for us, it was a very serious event. It wasn't entertainment. We were showing our independence. We were proving it. We were the first people to ever represent Bosnia on an international level. We were confirming our country's existence. And to that fact, once the lights were switched off on Eurovision 93, most of the band returned to Sarajevo and rejoined the Bosnian army and defended their city. So
my
I mean, it just
God.
shows, that they came, they represented themselves, and then they went back to their city. So I just thought that's kind of where it ends. It's just the story of one of the most dangerous journeys ever to the Eurovision Song Contest.
Do you know where Mohammed is now?
He's fine.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He's doing all right. They're still married.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm so glad.
And they're doing fine. Yeah. He's doing all right.
That's
it's beautiful, isn't it?
My heart.
Also, he used to be a model, so he's a good-looking guy.
Oh.
He could just play himself in the movie.
Mohammed. Okay. It's very exciting. I'll find a picture of him and hopefully of the two of them.
Yeah.
And put it on Instagram.
Yeah. But it's just amazing. There were other things. There's so many things in it that they recorded their song using petrol generators because there wasn't electricity in the city, and just like absolutely insane. But it's not all just like first class flights and things like that to these places. People do suffer, and like you say, people come to the contest so that their voice can be heard.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful story.
Not necessarily
Roland.
the funniest story in the world, but
No, it doesn't need to be.
it's quite something.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's blowing my mind a little bit.
I know. When I was reading it, it was just like it kept on. When it kept on going, I was like, "How does no one know about this?" And there was stuff online about, I think in like 2007 about there's going to be this movie being made. By the sounds of it, it wasn't made, but there's clearly spec scripts out there, and there's clearly people who think something should be made of it, and there should be. Yeah, it sounds incredible. Yeah.
Well, give you a little round of applause.
Well done to them. Give them a round of applause. So yeah,
impressive.
Have you got your story?
Yeah, I'm a bit blown away now. Jeez. Jeez. I mean, so my one, I was going to try and politicize you this week.
Hell.
So I've gone very deep as well.
Is this a dark episode?
Oh yeah, I think we've turned a dark corner.
That's all right though. We can be serious. I
haven't quite finished my next one's very chirpy and silly, but I haven't quite finished it yet. So I can't.
That's all right.
We'll just go dark.
This is the.
Well, mine ends happy too.
Good. It's
so they're happy endings.
Beautiful stories.
Beautiful stories.
Yeah, let's tell. Isobel,
this is the beautiful stories week.
Let's tell some beautiful stories.
Oh,
Go
on. Okay, so my story. Portugal, 1974.
Okay.
Have we done Portugal yet?
No,
we haven't
done
done
Spain.
Portuguese stories. Okay. 1974 was the 19th edition of the contest, taking place on April 6th in the seaside resort of Brighton on the south coast of the United Kingdom.
Oh!
Back to the UK
I thought you were about to say there was a place in Portugal called Brighton. I was slightly confused. Doesn't sound Portuguese.
No.
Okay.
No, the English one. So the BBC had agreed to stage the event after Luxembourg, having won in both 1972 and 1973, declined to host it on the grounds of the expense of the contest.
Yeah.
So as we've discussed before, it's just not feasible if you win too many times to host it. It's very expensive.
The Beeb have done that a few times. I was looking up on my research. We come in quite a lot and just like go, don't worry, we'll get it, guys.
We'll have it.
Fine. Yeah.
It's because we're desperate to host it because we know we're never going to win again. So we're like, we'll take it, guys. Don't worry about it. I mean, basically, that means we won, right? Right?
Pretty much.
If you host it, you won. So it's back in the UK, but it wasn't the UK that won. So this was the year, 1974, that the United Kingdom was represented in the contest by the British-born but Australian pop singer Olivia Newton-John, who finished in 4th place with the song Long Live Love. And it was also the year that ABBA won with Waterloo.
Wow, big year.
Big year. So it was a very big year, and normally I would do a bit of and this was this person and this is what this person was. I'm not going to do it because there's so many potential stories out of 1974. I'm just focusing on Portugal.
Save them from another podcast.
There's so many good ones. Genuinely great. I think ABBA's we're going to have to do like a double special do ABBA because they're so bloody great.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I did find though that I'm going to have a look into further to see if I think this might be a Eurovision mystery to solve. I've not had a proper look yet. Is that Malta had selected Enzo Guzman with the song Peace in the World to represent them, but withdrew from the contest for unknown reasons.
Unknown reasons is very mysterious.
Very.
Surely they had to they just said nah.
Nope.
Nope.
So that's going to be my task, is
Guzman.
to discover why Malta didn't enter it in 1974.
If anyone knows what happened to Guzman,
let
please
us
give us an
know.
email. europhoriapodcast@gmail.com.
Exactly. Okay. Try to pronounce some foreign words again because we're English and we can't speak other languages because we're horrible people.
Sorry.
Oh crap! I learnt it the other day as well, and I've forgotten.
You really tried hard.
Second. So I think it's pronounced again. It's pronounced "E depois do adios," which is the Portuguese entry, and it means either. I found two different translations of it, and after the farewell or after the goodbye.
Okay. I mean, similar sentiments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was performed in Portuguese by Paulo de Carvalho. It's a ballad. With Paulo taking the role of a man who is faced with the end of a relationship.
Oh, God, I know how it feels.
All too well. This is a song for you, Roland. Here we go. I wanted to know who I was, what I'm doing here, who has abandoned me, whom I forgot. I asked myself. I wanted to know about us, but the sea doesn't bring me your voice.
It's like he's looking into my mind.
Paulo goes on to tell his lover how he feels, likening her to a flower that I picked, implying that the relationship was of a comparatively short duration.
All right, we're going to not draw any more comparisons now.
He also comments on the nature of love itself, singing that it is winning and losing. So it sounds a bit... Ooh, but actually, it's quite an upbeat sounding ballad.
Yeah, okay.
I'm quite into it, despite the lyrical content that makes it sound quite serious.
Yeah,
You can kind of imagine it being used in the back of a Wes Anderson movie.
I saw him yesterday.
Wes Anderson
Yeah, I saw
in
him.
the street.
Yeah,
Shut your
walked straight
mouth.
past him. He looked so much like Wes Anderson. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was Wes Anderson.
It was Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
No, explain.
Do you know like what you expect Wes Anderson to look like? He was wearing like a mustard yellow turtleneck thing and like a tweed jacket and a tweed suit. It was Wes Anderson. He's in London filming his latest animation, and I just walked past him. My brother was ahead of me. Turned round and made the face like you'd just seen Wes Anderson, and I was looking at Wes Anderson, and I just looked at him and went, "Yeah."
Hey!
Yeah, Wes Anderson.
What a celebrity spot.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, you can't really ask Wes Anderson for a selfie on the street, can you? But
no, but that's fantastic.
Anyway, carry on. Little aside.
Oh, that's so well timed, isn't
know.
it? Oh, great. Paulo absolutely belts it out at the end, and when you watch the video on YouTube, again, all of these videos are available on YouTube. You can watch basically every contest online for free. Some of the audience gets their feet applauding, standing ovation. It's very powerful. It really blasts it out.
Yeah.
Great singer. So the song was performed 16th on the night, and at the close of voting, it had only received 3 points, placing 14th in the competition, which was tied for last with Switzerland, Norway, and Germany in a field of 17, which I think is total bullshit because it was a great song, but when you think back, strong competition.
Yeah.
ABBA won that year, reportedly.
Yeah.
One of the greatest pop songs ever made.
And Olivia Newton-John was in it.
He had stiff competition that year.
Yeah.
So very unfortunate, but it was a great song. And actually now thinking about it, when you listen to those other songs, I think his would have done a lot better maybe like 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit
old by that point.
past its time. Yeah. It would have done a lot better in the 60s maybe. But it was a great song nonetheless.
Yeah.
So the song didn't do very well in the competition, but less than a month later, it was to play a part in ending a 40-year dictatorship.
Shut up.
I'm going super political this week.
Yeah. What part did it play?
Well, this is what you're going to find out. Get yourself comfy.
It just played and it was so beautiful that they just stopped fighting?
Near enough. No, it's not that. Okay. By 1974... Portugal had been run by an authoritarian dictatorship for over 4 decades. So the Estado Novo, or New State, were considered by many to be a fascist regime who took charge of the Portuguese government in 1933. In the late 60s, some entries to the contest, as we've discussed before, they can be very political songs in terms of wanting to speak about what's happening in your country. Yeah. But actually... Also, some entries from dictatorial regimes were featuring distinct metaphors for freedom disguised as love songs in order to avoid censorship within that country. Yeah. So one example I found was the 1967 Portuguese entry by a guy named Eduardo Nascimento was called The Wind Has Changed, and it was about Portugal, while they were still in power, they were still the colonial power in Africa's Angola.
Right.
And it was sung. So Eduardo was actually the first male black singer in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah. I heard about him just because he was the first black.
Yeah,
singer.
and he was actually only the second black singer in the song contest. So the year before was the first female black singer. In late April 1974, the left-leaning military plotted to overthrow Portugal's dictatorial regime, then led by Marcelo Caetano, I think it's pronounced. The rebel leaders decided to broadcast a coded signal over the radio to indicate the start of the uprising, soon to be known as the Carnation Revolution. That signal was Paulo's After the Farewell.
No!
Yes. So this is less than a month later. So that was the 6th. It was on Eurovision. And then on late in the evening of the 24th of April, 1974, the song was played on the radio as a secret signal to alert the rebel soldiers to prepare for the beginning of the military coup. There was a second song that was broadcast, which marked the actual start of military operations in the coup, which didn't have any Eurovision connections. But it was called Grandola Via Morena by Zeca Afonso.
Wow.
So there were two songs, yeah. So his song was played, Paulo's song was played as a secret sign to say, get ready, guys, we're doing this now. And then the second song was played to say, things are happening.
I think that's like the most poetic start to a war I think I've ever heard.
It's crazy.
After the goodbye.
Crazy.
Jesus Christ.
So the revolution started as a military coup organised by the Armed Forces Movement, which was composed of military officers who opposed the regime and some elements who had been fighting the pro-independence guerrillas in the Portuguese Empire's territories in Africa. But the movement was soon coupled with an unanticipated and popular campaign of civil resistance. So despite repeated appeals by the revolutionaries over the broadcasting over the radio to ask people to stay at home and not come and join them to keep them safe, thousands of Portuguese people descended onto the streets of Lisbon holding red carnations, placing them in the muzzles of rifles and in the uniforms of army men, just all of them backing the resistance and saying, we're with you, we're doing this with you, absolutely involved. So red is obviously it's a symbolic colour for socialism and communism, which are the main ideological tendencies of many anti-new state insurgents. So that was obviously why they chose red carnations. And as the civilians mixed with the military insurgents, there was an audible euphoria. That's the sentence I found online.
Oh, little reference.
Audible Europhoria. It was the end of the Estado Novo, which was the longest-lived authoritarian regime in Western Europe and the final dissolution of the Portuguese Empire.
Wow.
Although the Estado Novo's political police killed 4 people before surrendering, the revolution was very unusual in the fact that the revolutionaries did not use direct violence to achieve their goals and almost no shots were fired.
Wow.
Just carnations.
The most poetic and peaceful revolution
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I've heard. This is beautiful.
The coup returned democracy to Portugal, ending the unpopular colonial war in which thousands of Portuguese citizens had been conscripted into military service, and replacing the Estado Novo regime and its secret police, which repressed elemental civil liberties and political freedoms. A new constitution was drafted, censorship was formally prohibited, free speech declared, and political prisoners released.
Yay!
Portugal's new regime pledged itself to end the colonial wars and began negotiations with the African independence movements. So by the end of 1974, Portuguese troops had been withdrawn from Portuguese Guinea, which also became a UN member state. And this was followed by the independence of Cape Verde, Mozambique, Angola in 1975.
So they just did like all the right things by the sounds of it.
That coup started this huge snowball effect that changed not just Portugal, but a lot of the world, like huge sections of the world at that time. So the Carnation Revolution, as it is now known in Portugal, also led to Portugal's withdrawal from East Timor in Southeast Asia. And these events prompted a mass exodus of Portuguese citizens from Portugal's African territories, creating over 1 million Portuguese refugees, which ended up being known as the Retornados. And there was a film about that. I haven't watched it.
No.
But I think that's probably quite beautiful and heartbreaking to watch.
I'm sure, yeah.
So, while many Eurovision entries have sparked protests and disrupt over the years, it's widely believed that this remains the only song to have actually started a revolution.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
How incredible is
that?
that?
Is amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah, and in Portugal, the 25th of April is still now a national holiday known as Freedom Day.
Is it really? So it's a good thing, because all of these things that we like when we talk about them, obviously, we're coming at it from one angle and we can cheer, and I'm always aware that obviously there's bad things that go on all sides of a conversation and everything like that, and I'm sure someone from the country or wherever from whatever's going on will listen and go, well, actually there was a lot of things. But I'm glad that they celebrate that day, and it's a good thing, and it all came from that one song. What a poetic way. Do you think they chose the song because of it, or just a random song?
I'm not sure. I couldn't find anything that said that I couldn't find anything that said that it was chosen specifically because of the meaning behind it, but potentially
it's quite a responsibility, isn't it? Imagine if they just took our podcast and said, well, when we play this on Radio 4, it's gonna it's quite...
I don't think our podcast has as much meaning, really.
I mean, they're quite poetic, aren't they? But yeah, that's stunning, and it sounds like an almost entirely good thing that happened.
Maybe. Oh God, I hope it was. Well, it ended the longest,
and they celebrate it today.
Dictatorship, or regime.
It is. I'm sure it is. I'm just worried that someone's going to email us and go actually, it ended in a Holocaust, and that was. But no, it didn't. It's fine. Wow. So that's stunning. That's really quite something.
Isn't that both done very quite rather intense, but ending on a beautiful note?
I feel quite warm inside. They're
very Christmassy now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Christmas is over, but it's festive season.
It is, but also it's not.
It's the festive season, isn't it?
But also we're time travelling.
It's 22nd. It's the 18th. I don't know what day.
He doesn't know what day it is. It's the 22nd.
Yeah, no, I do. I feel very Christmassy too. It's quite something. I feel like there needs to be jingle bells in the background.
Oh, I ain't got any.
Instead of jingle bells, Isobel, how about a song from yours truly?
I forgot that this was part of the podcast. I forgot we were doing it.
Were you just ready to wind down?
We're finished now.
Don't wind down. We've still got time to go. So we've had 3 songs so far. You would think that I'd be running out of ideas. Far from it. This time though, so the last 3, they've all been quite big themes, haven't they? So it's been about bringing people together. It's been about love. Been about the power of song. So I decided this week to try something different, to bring it a little bit closer to home, to be inspired by what's around me. So here in London, we've obviously got the Underground, the Tube. And recently, we've had a run of introducing the all-night Underground, the Night Tube.
Where is this going?
Or as I'm going to refer for it from now on, the Nightline. I was inspired by that to produce a little song entitled "Love on the Nightline."
Do you remember the band Northern Line?
Nope.
So, do you remember the Big Brother the Big Brother series that had Ziggy and Chantel?
Yeah.
So Ziggy, his actual name was Zach, and he was from a terrible boy band called Northern Line, who I once met at a service station when I was about 10, 11. Was obsessed with them. It was only me and my friend Roz who knew who they were in this service station. They were beautiful boys.
Ziggy was.
Somewhere, I think my parents might have them in Canada, there were photos of Northern Line that I took on my disposable camera at the time.
You have to fish them out, put them on Instagram.
They had a song called Love on the Northern Line.
Oh, well, before it was only the Northern Line, now it runs at night. So now it's Love on the Nightline.
Love it. Maybe we could get Ziggy to sing it, if this is any good. We'll see.
I don't know if you'll want to sing it. So I'm going to play it, and then we can talk about how it went. Are you ready?
Yep.
This is Love on the Nightline.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your final call for the Nightline. All aboard the Nightline. Final destination, love.
If you're having a
good time with a brand new girl. Found yourself a fella who can show you the world. If your money's run short, but your energy's high, running on your luck with a look in your eye. There's a one-way ticket at 8:45. Show me some moves and you get on just fine. If you're looking for an answer, well then this is your sign. It's time to get down, all aboard the nightline. You and me, it's time to party. You see, 'cause the feeling is fine. So let's make love on the nightline. Because up, down, turn it around, move your hips to the beat of the ground. Me, you, the rest of the crew, we got a lot of feelings and they're feeling brand new. 'Cause it's 8:30 and the people are great, and by 9:45 we're gonna do it again. 1:10, you'll be looking for fun. By 3:20, you'll be looking for me. You and me, it's time to party. You see, 'cause the feeling is fine. So let's make love on the nightline.
Love on the nightline.
Oh my god, I was literally face away from the microphone, silently howling so that I didn't ruin the song. Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
I am fully on board.
Oh, I do not know your scoring. I was like putting this in, I was like, oh, she's going to fucking hate it.
No, that was hilarious.
Oh my god, okay.
Absolutely hilarious.
So the idea was, because the other ones have been like very Eurovision, like lots of synth and lots of that. This one, I was sort of inspired by Belgium's entry. Do you remember Belgium's entry last year? It was that little red-headed firecracker who did that funky, like... So,
yeah, no, it is a little bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah, so
a little bit funk.
Yeah, because you know, like every Eurovision, there's always a couple that you're like, oh, this is like an actual song. This is like an actual song, and like, you know, all of them are actual songs, but some of them are very Eurovision-y.
All of them are actual songs. I love that.
No, but like,
this is an actual song, not just a pile of shit.
Even Man's from 2 years ago, it's a very Eurovision song. Like, it's like...
Yeah, but so what you mean is, if you took it out of the Eurovision context and just threw it into the charts,
that's what I mean.
You'd
just be like, oh yeah. So I thought, you know what? Let's do a song that's not relying on those Eurovision tropes. I'm going to do a little bit of funky, a little bit of, you know. And I thought, Love on the Nightline. What a great...
I love the line, and at 2:45 you'll be looking for me.
Yeah, that was good. I do have to caveat this with, please do not make love on the night tube, because you will get arrested, and also it's a dirty place to be. So,
and also, I don't want to see that when I'm going home for a night out. Just no.
So as a concept for a song, great. As an actual act, not okay.
Very illegal.
Yeah, very illegal, and just you'll pick up something. Well, I'm excited about this because...
So, okay, do you want to... Okay, I'm going to give you my proper review of this.
Yeah, let's do a proper review. Go on.
So I loved the funk aspect to it. I was dancing away, bopping along straight away, really enjoying it. Loved some of the lyrics, very funny. As I said, 2:45, you've been looking for me.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Loved your little sexy talking intro to it. That was very funny. I think the lyrics got a little bit lost at points. They could need some work on them.
They're fast and they go round and about and they sort of repeat but differently. So there's similar rhymes, but
Okay, I was just going to say I think they were a little bit weak at points.
I'm just you know, it's fine.
But very, very good. I was very impressed by that.
Wow.
I quite want to listen to it again.
My hopes are high.
So let me work out my French numbers again.
Oh my god, I was just very confused. Okay.
I am going to give this... Oh, I don't know now because I'm trying to work out if I like it more than the first one. I'm going to give it... Nerf.
Okay, that's okay.
9.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's your second highest scoring one so
and
far.
I'm okay with that because I didn't know what to expect with this one, so now I know.
I really, really liked it. I think you lost minor points. I think United We Dance, Divided We Fall lyrically was stronger.
Yeah, it was really strong.
And because it was very much it had just such a Eurovision vibe to it. buzzing about it.
Yeah.
This is so close to being matched at 10 points.
Yeah.
But just pipped to the post.
You know what? I'm happy with that. I'm happy with. I was disappointed with last week's 6, but I'm very happy with this week's 9. We're on an upward trajectory, guys. We're doing really good, so I'm very excited about that. You know what? We're gonna leave it on that high. So if you want to get in contact with us, it's we've said it a couple of times, but it's europhoriapodcast@gmail.com for email. It's Europhoria Podcast on Instagram and at EurophoriaCast on Twitter. Me and Isobel tweet and Instagram a fair amount, so please do follow us on those.
Yep.
And give us a fan mail so that the only person who has emailed us isn't Isabel's dad.
Quite nice if it was just my dad. In fact, actually, shout out to Dad. Just keep emailing us.
Yeah, that's
if you
fine.
could, every week we'll have your dad section, and you can tell us your review of what you think of Roland's stuff. That'd be really nice.
That'd be
really
quite fun. Yeah.
it.
So do that. I've never met you, but I really appreciate the email, so that's fine.
He's coming over in the new year. You can meet him then.
Maybe you could be on the podcast.
Oh, he'd love that. He loves Eurovision, does my dad.
Well,
Honestly,
maybe
that's where I get my love from. My parents. They used to host. No, actually, we'll talk about it another time. Yeah.
So that's the end of it. Thank you very much for listening. We hope you have a really good new year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
I'm going
New
to
Year.
finish off this bottle of Prosecco because Roland has to drive.
Boo. As we say at the end of every podcast, baby, I'll be your Conchita Wurst if you'll be my...
Daz Sampson.
Yay! Goodbye!